G'day and welcome to Choosing Your Uni. I'm Rob Malicki, and in today's episode we're in Mackay on the central coast of Queensland. We're going to be talking about whether or not you should move away from home in order to go to university. Such an important question for young people. Now, if you're living in a regional area like Mackay, that might make the decision a little bit easier for you, but how do you decide otherwise? You know, I've been helping people for about 20 years to decide what to do with their future, so I've been deeply involved in higher education, so I've talked to so many people about this topic. And by the end of this video, you'll have not only some good ideas about whether or not it's for you, but you'll actually have a checklist of the things you need to think about if you're going to consider moving out of home for uni. And while we do that, we're going to go and check out the town of Mackay here on the coast of Queensland. Let's get started.
How good is this?
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'll give you some examples of where personally I think it makes good sense to strongly consider moving away for university. Firstly, you're trying to escape something, like you could have a really tough family situation or other personal situation and you just want to get away. Definitely, it's worth going and moving away. Number two, you love adventure. Adventure, you know, there's so many great universities in this country. There are so many amazing cities and places to explore. Amazing adventures are out there if you want to go and chase them. Number three, if there's a very specific academic discipline that you're already keen on, and there's a particular university out there that's strong for that discipline, you should definitely consider moving out of home or moving away from home in order to go and pursue that path. You should also consider it if, for example, you have no idea whatsoever what you want to do with your life, in which case you're like pretty much everybody else. And the reason that moving away is so powerful in this situation is that it pushes you really far outside your comfort zone. And honestly, all the good stuff in life happens when you're outside your comfort zone. Nobody ever, had a rich, fulfilling, successful life sitting on their bum eating rich food in front of the TV where it's comfortable and easy. It don't work like that. All of the great changes in your life will happen when you're outside your comfort zone. And so, stepping well and truly outside your comfort zone, moving away from everything that you know, is an amazing way to push yourself very, very far. Well, the first thing that you need to think about if you're trying to make the decision about moving away in order to go to uni is like thinking about what's important to you. Sounds kind of obvious, right? But surprisingly, like a lot of people don't actually stop and write down what their goals and their priorities are. Actually, to help you with that, what I've done is I've actually just created a little worksheet that you can download right here. Details in the description below as well, which will help you work through that process of deciding what is most important to you. But like, take an example. Some people, they might have parents that absolutely give them the shits and have been really difficult to deal with as a teenager, and they just want to get out and get away. That's a really high priority for that person. Other people might have had a fantastic, easygoing family, and that's not a reason for them to move away. And so your personal situation is unique to you, and only you can consider like what situation you're in and like what you want to do about it. First thing to do is to really think about what your goals and your priorities are. That includes the things that you might be interested in, the things that you might want to do in future. And it's, guys, it's totally okay if you don't know what it is that you want to do in future. True story, for the last 13 years I've been running my own business, student exchange kind of business. It was very successful. I had 13 staff, it was a 6 million turnover business, and boom, COVID happened and we had to close that business down, even though it was profitable and successful, reputable. And so now, here in the middle of, the end of my 30s, early 40s, I have to start again and make a decision about what to do with my life. So it can happen at any time, and it can feel really overwhelming because you have so many choices and so many possibilities in front of you. Actually, I did a vlog about that. You can find the vlog up here. But it doesn't have to be, because all you need is like a system to work through in order to work out what are the things that are most important to you, and from there you can start to decide about what actions you might want to take. Once you've figured out what your goals and priorities are, it's time to start thinking about what kind of degree you might want to take. And that could be like a single versus a double degree, and it could also be like a general degree versus a specialist degree. So you have all of these different levels of degree programs. And there's a lot that goes into that question. So I've actually done specific videos on those topics. Up here you can find single versus double degrees. And let's give it a few seconds. I'm just gonna dance in Mackay. Okay, that's enough fun. And up there you can find whether you do a general degree versus a specialist degree. So check out those videos. Do you have any questions or comments, please hit me up below and I'll absolutely get back to you. I love replying to comments. So if you've got specific questions, more than happy to help you out. Really quickly though, you want to do a general degree if you haven't yet worked out what it is you actually want to do. And don't worry, that's like 99% of people, 90% of people. So you got heaps of time. If you're not 100% sure what it is you want to do next, do a general degree. Same sort of question when it comes to single versus double degrees. A single degree is a great starting point. It allows you to get yourself into some subjects and discover what you really enjoy, and then later you can dive deeper. However, if you already generally know what you want to do, doing a double degree allows you to specialize more. And why that's important is that when it comes to the job market, you think like how many people walk out of university with a Bachelor of Business degree? Yeah, there's a lot, right? But how many people work out of university with a Bachelor of Business and a Bachelor of Science? Many, many, many fewer. And what that means is that your skill set, your education is a little bit more unique, and that just makes you more employable because there are lots more talking points. What's the overlap between science and business? Well, I could actually tell you, but I'll leave that up to you if you've studied a Bachelor of Business and a Bachelor of Science. Single degrees, general degrees if you're not sure what you want to do, double degrees if you want, and specialised degrees if you know what you want to do. All right, next up, we've worked out what our goals and priorities are. We've thought about whether or not we want to do a single or a double degree. Now it's time to start thinking about different types of universities that we can potentially study at. And here I've got a heap of info for you, heaps of resources. Firstly, I've done reviews of every university in the country. Must be one of the only people that's actually visited them all. And I've actually done these independent reviews, and you can find them on this playlist right here. So that allows you to literally have a look around the various institutions. Now outside of that, you've also got other resources that can help you start to look at various universities and their strengths. The primary one is a website which is called compared.edu.au. So compared, the word like to compare plus a D, and it's an Australian government website where all of the universities are listed out, and the government has collected data from student surveys, from employer surveys, in order to see what people actually say about those universities. The website, you can split it up not only by university, but you can split it up by discipline area, and most importantly is you can actually compare institution with institution. And so this is such a great resource and allows you to start looking at which institutions you might want to consider based on their strengths. Let's break down this stuff around personal goals and what you might want to be interested in. Okay, first thing to think about is like your family situation. Do you have a bad family situation? Do you have a non-existent family situation? Do you have a good family situation? Awesome. Work out what your family situation is and what that means for you. Secondly, what's your work situation? Do you already have a casual job? Do you already have a part-time or a full-time job? Those things will definitely play into your decision about whether or not you want to move. And third, related to the second, is money situation. How important is money to you in terms of moving away from home? If you've got very wealthy parents, maybe it's not so important at all. If you've always worked to support yourself, that could be a line ball decision depending on whether or not you're able to find work in the new place. Or if you're really highly dependent on scholarships, for example, or subsidies like accommodation benefits. Those are the things you need to work out. So write down, number 3, what is your actual money situation? Next up, do you actually know what you want to do next? Do you have an idea about the area that you want to work in, or at least the things that you are interested in? Drop those down below as well. Next thing we need to think about are the things that are like core values for you or of core importance for you. So firstly, do you want to make a lot of money? Absolutely nothing wrong with that, okay? Number 2, do you want to create impact in the world, or do you want to help people? Do you want to save the world? I don't know. Do you want to have adventure? These are the sorts of things that you want to think about in terms of what's really critically important to you in terms of core goals and personal attributes. It's been great to show you around Mackay. This is a fantastic town. I really have enjoyed walking around and showing you some of the sights, and to talk about this huge decision about whether you should move away in order to go to university. Remember, you can download the worksheet right there, and I'll see you next time on Choosing Your Uni. I'm Rob Malicki. Have an awesome day.